Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome viewers once again to my channel. For those of you that are existing subscribers, you are most welcome. If you are new, you are also most welcome. If you are new, then please don't forget to hit that bell icon. Today you find me back at a spot I was in one of the earlier videos, because by popular demand I've been told that I didn't cover Queen's Road in enough detail, so that's what I intend to do. So it's a very long walk for me from here to the other end, and I think it'll probably take me an hour, but of course I shall keep stopping so that the video is of a reasonable length. So this is the junction of King Cross Road, and Queen's Road goes up there, so sorry for the quick span, but down there is the new carriageway, and behind is the car park of Tesco's. So just going along here, in the previous video I was actually at that far end on Burnley Road. So this road, as you know, becomes a junction at the end with lots of traffic lights, and across it is various roads that lead to the other villages such as Mytham Royd and Shipley. So people have requested buildings that they remember, so I should have firstly pointed out down there, that is I think that used to be called the Trafalgar. Okay, so it is sort of on the edge of that carriageway, so if I have time I may go on the front of that sometime. But then there is this building here, which is now a solicitor's office, but one or two subscribers have said that in their time that used to be called the junction. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross the road and stop at various points, because there are iconic buildings here. So just to point out, that is the continuation of King Cross Road, and it joins the carriageway and also goes into town. So this is the journey we will make from here right to the other end, and this of course cuts through the area where I live. This area is called Town and St. John's. So I've just stopped on the other side, viewers, to show you, the wonderful Victorian architecture. So some dear friends of ours live there, and just looking on this side you can still see the sign of the junction, and in the background there you can see the church, and I'll film it when I get a bit closer as well. Just a little further up now, viewers, and we have this wonderful building which in its time used to be a constitutional club. Okay, so there were lots of these buildings that held community events. Okay, so just panning again, the church. Then on this side there used to be some houses, but unfortunately they've been knocked down. So I'm going to carry on up the road. So I don't know whether you can tell from my breath, it is a uphill walk, so quite strenuous. This street is called Thorn Tree Street, and it used to house a number of small factories that made furniture and things like that. So as you can see, next to the Constitutional Club is the grounds and a graveyard of this church, which is called St. Paul's Church. So another view of the church, viewers. And then on this side there's some residential properties that were built the early part of the last century. So I'm now on the corner of Fenton Road and Queen's Road, and further on I have been up there in the earlier videos. We saw Stanley Road and some mills called Elm Works. So to the right, as you can see, very densely populated with what we call back-to-back terraced houses. So no doubt housing the mill workers that worked at the mills that were sort of further in this direction. I've told you that where the car park is, that used to be called a Scarborough mill, and where I was previously in the last video, there were a number of mills that belonged to a person called Warehouse, who built the tower. But as I say, that is going to be another video. So on this side we see a number of well, what can be described as modern houses, because they are red bricked, and red brick sort of started in the 1950s really. So the traffic lights that you see there, that is the junction of Hanson Lane, and that's where I shall stop in a short while. But there are a few buildings along the way as well. Just dropped a little bit further up to show you another view. So that's the journey we've made so far, and we will be carrying on. The buildings that you see here are very modern, and there used to be other warehouses in my time for various purposes. So I'm going to go on to the other side, because these buildings on this side are quite iconic. So this is a very iconic building in my area. I don't know whether you can read the inscription up there, but it says Kingston Liberal Club, and I think the date is 1881. So belonging to a political party called the Liberals of that time. So, and there is a statue. I wonder if that's Gladstone, who was one of the founders of the Liberal Party. Okay, so this has been used for various purposes. So it has been a cinema, and then we remember it as a garments factory, because my mum used to work there. So people asking me about various businesses that they remember, and one of them is a dairy, which to the best of my knowledge is or used to be where this car dealer is, what they call the Motor Arena. So show you once again the journey that we have made, and we will be carrying on, as I said, that way. And the first junction there is with Hanson Lane, so I shall go up to there. So for my subscriber Nigel, I think this is where the Queen's Road Dairy used to be. Apparently, or you tell me that your granddad used to work here. So this is where the Queen's Road Dairies was. And as I say, in my time there used to be many warehouses here. So this is the junction of Queen's Road and Hanson Lane, viewers. So we have been here before. If we were to go straight up that way, that would take us to Whalley Road, And then down here where that red truck is going, if you remember, is the primary school, and further down is the college, and then we're doing the carriageway either going out of town or into town. Okay, so I shall carry on making my journey, and as I've pointed out previously, these new houses and the buildings further on used to belong, or probably still belong, but now are for a different use. So it belongs to John McIntosh's, which used to be, or it still is, in York and other places, a sweets manufacturer. So I'll film it from further on. A new development taking place on here, and as I said, you know, as far as I can remember, this has always been a car dealership and sort of what I would call allied industries. So there used to be a petrol station there as well. So I'm going to walk quite a bit up that way, viewers, and then take some shots from there. So I shall see you up there. So I am now further along on this side of the traffic lights. I show you once again this development. So I don't know what it's going to be. Looks like a car showroom again, but the area behind it is the interesting one. That's where the railway line used to run, and it is now a housing estate. So as I say, from that end right up to we're past this red brick building used to be the Macintosh's factory. So again, I'll walk further up and stop at the next junction, or close to the next junction, which is called Hopwood Lane, of course. So I've stopped a little bit further on, viewers. As you can see, the building is now used for modern purposes, but in my time, up to that point, before it, where it says Project Beauty Parlour, that it used to belong to the Macintosh's sweet factory. So that's the journey we've made, and as I say, behind here used to be a railway line, but it is now a housing, and further up where you can see that house at the back, there is a set of allotments. So we're going to carry on our journey going this way, and the traffic lights that you see there is the junction of Hopwood Lane. But before we get there, another subscriber has told me that they remember a veterinary practice on here, and I'm told to film that. So as far as I know, it's that building over there, but I'll go over there and film in front of it. So to the best of my knowledge, this is where the vet's practice used to be. So I hope you are happy with the shots that I'm making, and I'll do a slow shot because there are a number of people that used to live along these streets that want to be reminded of them. As I say, they haven't really changed in terms of structure, it's just the use and the people. Okay, as you can see on this side, there are a number of other terraced houses, and I'll film it from the other side as well. So I'm on the other side now, viewers, so we are going to carry on our journey further that way. As I've said, that is the junction of Hopwood Lane, and Queen's Road, and some people have said that they used to live on one of these houses. So I'll pan slowly so that you get an idea. So there's about 30 houses on here. Again, they are what we call back to back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk further up towards the junction and past it, because another viewer has asked me about a club that used to be there called the Ukrainian Club, and I think it has just recently been knocked down, so I'll show you the grounds that it used to be on. So I'm now on the junction of Queen's Road and Hopwood Lane, viewers. So if you remember, that is Hopwood Lane coming from town. You can just catch People's Park in that direction as well. So that is the journey we've made from that side of Queen's Road. So if we were to go that way up, then of course we would join Worley Road, and if you remember, along the way there was another factory called McVitie's, which in its original days used to be called Riley's. So on this side you can see a number of buildings, again used for modern purposes, but in their time they were what we call politically motivated buildings. I know there was a conservative club here, and that other building used to be called a constitutional club. Okay, so to the best of my knowledge, the Ukrainian club used to be over there, and what I'll do is I'll go a little bit further on and show you that. But there are people that want me to film these houses on here because they used to live on here. But I'll go on the other side first. So I'm on the other side, viewers, and I'll pan slowly because again there are 2 or 3 people that have said that they used to live in houses along here. So my friend Asif used to live in one of these houses. So Asif, I hope you can recognize your house. So as we go further and further that way, we are heading towards the junction with Gibbet Street. But firstly, as I say, I think the Ukrainian club used to be behind these walls. So I'll walk a bit further. Right, so this is what remains of the Ukrainian club. But what we do still have is the remains of the church over there, which I'll go and film. And again, that's used for a different purpose now. I think it's used by well, sort of a car scrap dealer come retailer. So I'll go and film up there to show you the Ukrainian church, as we call it. So I'm a little further up towards the junction with Gibbet Street, viewers. To the right of you there you can see Queen's Road Mills. That and this new building here is used by Tubbses, who are good friends of ours, and they are big in the ice cream making business. So again, somebody's asked me to film these houses here. This is called Kingsbury Place. So some friends used to live on here, and apparently all this was used by the army. So I shall carry on further towards the junction because I want to show you the church that's there. I guess I've just stopped on here, viewers, to show you this building. It used to be a church, a Ukrainian church. So I think that means they were Orthodox Christians. So as I say, used for a different purpose now. There's a burger cellar there, and in that yard there's some scrap. So in that direction, as you can see, is the traffic lights. That building on there, which I'll come to later, used to be a bank. So just looking at this street here, it's called Lemon Street, and more residential properties. And I'll pan once again to these houses because people have said that that is where they remember. Okay, so I shall carry on walking in that direction and film from the junction there. So I've just stopped on the junction of Gibby Street and Queen's Road. So this will be familiar to many viewers. We have been here before. So the Queen's Road Mills, now used by Fazana Medina. So this is Gibbet Street going all the way to town, and Queen's Road on that side, and going all the way right up to Pellon Lane over there. So if you remember, this building used to be a chemist in my time. Okay, so it has got a date up there, 1893, and some initials, JT. So on this side, as I say, that building used to be a bank. So we have made this journey further up that way, and then we joined Worley Road from there. But if we were to go straight on, then it would be the countryside areas such as Norton Tower, and hopefully that is videos for the future. So I'll just show you this building again. This used to be a school in our time, and that is the school that my older brother used to go to. It is now a community centre. So lots of different businesses on here. So what I'll do is I'll go sort of further on and show you them from a different angle. Okay, so I'll take some more shots. So as you can see, there's a pillar box there, and behind that used to be the Queen's Road post office, which unfortunately, like many others, has closed down. So what you see is a lot of modern eateries and barbers shops and similar businesses. So I'm just on the corner of a street called Jasper Street, and this houses this what's called a metal fabricator, where they change metal for you. So the area that you see at the back there, if you remember, that is where one of my primary schools used to be. And more shots of the businesses on Queen's Road. Okay, so I shall walk further on towards the next junction, viewers, and the next junction is Hanson Lane. So I do hope the people that wanted to see these buildings are happy to see them. And just a little bit further on the other side of the engineering works called Bibby's. So more shots of the businesses that are here. So as you can see, barbers, shops, carpet furniture. Okay, so that whitish building was an iconic building in my time. As far as I can remember, it used to be a snooker club, and more residential properties and businesses on this side. I'll film it from the other side so that you get a better idea. But the traffic lights that you see over there, of course, is the next junction, which is Hanson Lane. Been told to film on this side because some other friends used to live in one of these houses, and there used to be a public house here, but it burnt down. And then that house there on the corner also used to be a public house. So I do hope people are recognizing the properties that they used to live in. So I'll go further up. So I think there used to be a pub here. Okay, again, another iconic building that has been a retailer of various sorts. Some of these were just residential properties in my time, not businesses. Okay, so we are actually quite close to the end. I think it'll take me another 20 minutes or so to the end. So the traffic lights you see there are Hanson Lane. Then there's another junction which I want to show you, and then we will come to the end of Queen's Road. Just a little bit further on to show you more premises. There used to be a pub on the corner there on the right hand side. I know there was a fire and then it was refurbished. So the traffic lights that you see there is Hanson Lane. This street is called Walsh Street, and behind it a lot of residential properties. And what you see there is the remains of a chimney. I think there used to be a mill there called Ryburn Works. Okay, so I shall carry on making the journey further up. So I've continued my journey further on, viewers. So I'm now on the junction of Hanson Lane and Queen's Road. So once again, we have been here before. If you remember, the area down there is called Hanson Lane Enterprise, and further down we saw the Raglan Mill Estate, and from this side it takes us to Thrum Hall and of course the Asda Superstore. So I do think the end is in sight now, so we've got another quarter of a mile or so. So I'll just show you the businesses on this side. So as I say, the buildings haven't really changed, so shall pan across. So the people asking about these buildings, the buildings have not changed. It's only the people. So I'll pan across again, and I shall cross the road and show you the buildings on this side before we go over to Battinson Road. So I'm on the other side now. So as I said, this used to be a public house. It's changed to residential now. And just show you some of the businesses on that side, and we have our very famous Sky DIY down Battinson Road. Okay, so the businesses are up to there really, and then on the right hand side there's a lot of residential properties. So I'm at the next junction, viewers. This is called Battinson Road, so it starts down there, very close to St Augustine's Terrace as it's called. So if you may recall, we've seen St Augustine's Church, and this is all Battinson Road, and the corner of this is a DIY store called Sky. So Battinson Road goes up to there, and if we were to turn left there it would join Thrum Hall. And what you see on this side is a council complex really. It houses the garbage wagons, and I think they store some salt as well. So what you can see at the end is almost the end of our journey. So the traffic lights there are the end of Queen's Road. Okay, so pan once again down there, and to the right, as you can see, there is a lot of residential properties, as there is on this side as well, and then a few businesses over there which I shall film when I get there. So I'm just on the other side of the council complex, viewers. So as I said, this is used by the garbage collection unit really, and there's a lot of recycling that takes place inside these buildings. So I'll pan on this side because some people saying that they used to live in these houses. Excellent Victorian houses. And as you can see, we have gaps here as well, and there's actually a park area. I do remember some houses on here. And then on this side we have this very old retailer called James Chambers, and for the history buffs amongst you, they can be traced back to I think the 19th century really. So they've had some sort of businesses in the timber industry, and they are now a very large retailer. So they have this building here, and at the back there are other businesses in that retail park over there. So we are coming almost to the end of the journey. So what I'll do is I'll go further up and film those houses there, and then stop at the end. So I'm sorry it has become a long video, but this was requested by many people, so I decided to fulfill it today. I was planning on doing more filming, as I say, close to Wayne House Tower, but it has been raining recently, and it was rather slippery, so I thought this was a lot safer. So what I'm going to do is going to go further that way, film those houses, and then show you the end of Queen's Road. So I've stopped a little bit further on, viewers, so that you get an idea. As I said, there used to be properties here, and I think that's called Rushton Street, and the Queen's Road properties continue this way. Okay, so we are coming very close to the end of Queen's Road, which of course is those traffic lights, and that of course is Pellon Lane. So that's the journey we've made. And I don't know whether you can see behind me there, there's some timber there that again belongs to the timber merchant James's. Okay, so just showing you the properties on the other side, viewers. So as you can see, the timber merchant starts at the very end. So it starts there, and then it's behind these houses, and then they have a yard over there as well. Okay, so what you see at the end of this is more Victorian age buildings, really. I know these have been here since the 1890s. Okay, and James Martin, the timber merchant at the end over there. I'm taking more shots of the houses here, because I know quite a number of my classmates used to live on here when I was at Queen's Road Primary School. Okay, so we've come to the end of another journey, viewers. So I do hope you found it interesting. So this is the end of Queen's Road. So this is another iconic building. It's now used as an education centre, but at one time it used to be a public house. So down there is the rest of Pellon Lane. I'll go across and film, and then of course it carries on that way into an area called Mount Tabor, and on this side you see the timber merchants again. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go across to show you the rest of Pellon Lane, and then we shall end our journey there. Okay, so that's Pellon Lane, which of course starts from town, and this is Pellon Lane at the junction of Queen's Road, and we have our iconic James Chambers, the timber merchants over there. So that is the end of the journey today, viewers. So I do hope you've enjoyed what I've shown you, and the people that have requested me to take shots of where they used to live. I do hope that they are happy with the shots. If you're not, please specify to me the exact location if you know it, and I'll try and film there. So it just remains for me to say thank you for watching. So until the next time, I say look after yourselves, look after others. Until the next time, goodbye. अपना ख्याल रखना, दूसरों का ख्याल रखना, दुआओं में याद रखना. अल्लाह हाफिज.